Hi, everyone, and welcome to your Week 15 Modern World launch. I hope everybody had a very happy Thanksgiving with your family and your friends. And for those of you who might be out in the woods for the first day of hunting season, I hope everybody's having a very safe day. First thing I want to do is go over the progress so far. The project that you should have completed that's now past due is the Ideas That Changed the World project. So far, 8 of you have submitted that, so it's not a terrible number, but that's over half the class that still has not submitted it. So make sure you're trying to submit that final product soon. For the focus areas, the ones that are bolded are the ones that are required to complete the course, the forms of government and Enlightenment philosophers focus areas. The other 2 that are listed are the additional focus areas. So if you're somebody that would like to end the course with your highest possible grade of an A+, those ones that are not bolded are required for the highest possible grade. So make sure you're reaching out to me soon. Let me know what you need help with, because I am here to help, even if it's just getting started and that's what you're scared about and that's what's taking you so long. I just want to try to make it as easy as possible. So if you have not turned in the first project yet, only submit the final product. So if you are one of those people who have not submitted the Ideas That Changed the World project, do not bother submitting the checkpoints at this point. Anything that's past due, I'm not going to give feedback on. So you can still complete the checkpoints if it's easy for you to break the project down into smaller portions. But if you submit them, it's not going to be with feedback. I'll just say to keep going. You should just be focusing on the final product at this point, and I will just give you your grade, and that's that. So you'll not receive any feedback on checkpoints that are past due. Because it is important to remember that focus areas are completed at your pace. Okay, so you complete them at your pace. That's what you're doing at home in your personalized learning time. So whenever you learn at your pace in the focus areas. However, the projects need to be completed at my pace. We still have to have some sort of order in a school and in a class to keep you guys on pace so that you're not having to submit 10 projects in every class in the last week of school, because that's just not how it's going to work this year. You need to try to stay on pace. So that is why the feedback is not going to be given to you if it's late. So try to stay on pace, and I really, really recommend submitting the checkpoints when they're actually due, because you will do better if you can get feedback from your instructors before you submit the final product. Attendance. In order to get perfect attendance each week, you need to complete the weekly instructional launch, which is what you're watching right now. Submit work 5 days a week or end the week on pace. So if you're not on pace according to the pace chart, we basically go in and we take a look at your activity for the week. If you're somebody who's really far off pace, and then we go and we look and we see that on one day you took one diagnostic assessment, more than likely you're getting 4 days absences in that class for that week. So you have to make a genuine effort to try to get caught up. So it's okay if you're not on pace, but it's not okay to not try hard. So shout outs to Emily, Britton, James, Landon, Laura, Matthew, and Sarah for their perfect attendance last week. And I highlighted James because he was somebody who about a week or 10 days ago, I had almost nothing submitted for him. And he worked really, really hard. And he messaged me and he got help, and he's now completely caught up. So he proved that in like 3 or 4 days of really hard work, he's completely on pace in history. So just congratulations to James for putting forth the effort and getting back on pace. So hopefully we have more people that will take that challenge just like James did last week. The Revolutions essay, last week in the launch, we went over checkpoint 1. This week is checkpoint 2. You're to be answering the historical question, was the Mexican Revolution similar to or different from the French Revolution? So I just want to go into the summit real quick. So checkpoint 2 is right here. And obviously you want to do this after you submit checkpoint 1. So what you're to do is answer this historical question. It's telling you to write at least one paragraph in response to this question. Your paragraph should include a topic sentence that clearly responds. So basically, what's your answer to this question? That's your topic sentence. Then you want to make sure you're providing at least 2 pieces of evidence or quotes from the French Revolution document sets. So you want to make sure that, and you also want to be using the Mexican Revolution documents. So when they refer to those document sets, that's over here. These are the things that you should be using. Anything that's marked a resource is for you to be able to complete these checkpoints. So some of you, I think, are confused because you're not sure where to find this information. If you just look over to the right, anything with a resource. So you should be using the French Revolution document sets, which are found in checkpoint 1. And then the Mexican Revolution documents are in this checkpoint right here. So they're broken up by mild and medium. So mild, if you're somebody who is not, you don't consider yourself the best reader, maybe the mild would be better for you. So then you just have your sources, your documents outlined here. And these are just a list of documents for you. So then you can say, if you're trying to make an argument, you could say, according to the Constitution of Mexico, Article 7, and then your quote would be this. If that's the information that you're using to prove your point, you want to make sure you're using a quote from one of these documents to prove your point. So that's what we mean by evidence. Also, you want to make sure you're paying attention to these cognitive skills, because these 6 things are what you will receive feedback on in the checkpoint, and that's also what you will be graded on in the final product. So it's best to practice whenever you're doing these checkpoints. So what you want to do is click over to this tab of cognitive skills. If you're not exactly sure what these are or how you're supposed to do that, just click on one of these. And for your grade, I believe you want a 4 a 4 is like your passing grade. So you want to go to level 4 for argumentative claim. Your claims and subclaims are clearly introduced throughout writing and organized so that relationships between claims and subclaims are evident. If you think that you did that, then that's your level 4. If you want to try a little harder and challenge yourself, look at level 5 and make sure you add in all of those elements. So make sure you're using your rubric as you're completing these final products, because it will tell you how to do so. One comment on style and language. A lot of you are typing as if you are texting or like you're talking, and that's not okay. That's not formal and that's not academic language. So make sure you are using your proper formal language. There is no text lingo, LOLs, and the word you is YOU, not you, because that is something that you're being scored on in this. And anytime you're writing in an academic institution, you should not be writing like you talk or saying things like, hey, want to know why this happened? Let me tell you. Like that's not formal. Just be as formal as possible and just say what you mean. Okay. Some advice: wait for feedback on the checkpoints. So I have some of you who do submit multiple checkpoints in one day, and you don't wait for me to give you any feedback. So if you're making a mistake on checkpoint 1 and you submit 3 in one day, then you're more than likely, if you didn't wait for feedback, you're going to have mistakes all through checkpoint 2 and checkpoint 3. So what you're doing is you're making it harder for yourself, because I know you're trying to go fast, but sometimes it's better to just slow down, wait for feedback, and turn in your best quality work. So I love the quote by Steve Jobs in the top right. Quality is much better than quantity. 1 home run is much better than 2 doubles. So if you understand that sports analogy, great. If not, basically slow down, turn in your best quality work on the final product, and instead of trying to turn in 6 checkpoints in one day. So I challenge you guys to just, I know it's sometimes hard to wait for your instructors to give you feedback, but just like in a brick and mortar school, especially when you turn in an essay assignment, you're not going to typically get your feedback the very next day. Give your instructors a few days to put some thought into it, really read your essay, and give you the feedback that you need to turn in a good, high quality final product. So again, wait for feedback, because that's where you're going to be getting your instruction of what you did wrong and what you could fix and what you did well. That way on checkpoint 2, you don't make those same mistakes. And I think you'll do a lot better in the long run. So try to pump the brakes a little bit and take your time. What you should be working on right now is the French Revolution causes focus area. If you haven't already, you want to take the diagnostic assessment 1 time. That is a pre-test, so there's no need to take that 2 or 3 times to pass it. You take it once. You look at the results of the diagnostic assessment, and what you did not know, you want to then study that material in the playlist. And once you feel you can do all of the lesson objectives that are outlined in the focus area, then you would request your content assessment. So I want to go back into that focus area. Oh, the causes. So the French Revolution causes, I recommend writing down these key terms. And I said writing down because I mean it, like with a notebook and a pen. Write down the key terms and then use the playlist to define them. As you come across these words when you're reading or listening to videos, write down the definitions or any important information you heard about it. Or, use Google and look it up. But I definitely recommend writing down more so than typing because you will learn it at a faster rate. You want to make sure that you're looking at the description of what you should be able to do by the time you complete these. So once you go through the playlist, if you can do all three of these objectives, then I would say you're good to go ahead and request the content assessment. I also recommend doing the checks for understanding. I know some of you have done these, but these a lot of times will give you exactly what you should know for the test. And if you can do all these, and most of them even have answers. Some of them you'll find actually have answers at the bottom. This one says they're at the bottom, but they're not. So I don't know where they are. But you can also Google these exact same questions and find the answers on your own. Okay, so just like taking your time with the checkpoints and the projects, I also recommend taking your time in the focus areas. If you just try really hard one time and actually devote some time to studying everything and writing down the key terms, I guarantee you will pass the content assessment faster than somebody who's going through 7, 8, 9 times just guessing. So again, you're essentially just wasting your time if you're not really looking and studying the playlist. And you're just somebody who's trying to request the content assessment a bunch of times. You're not really learning and you're just wasting your time. So try to study and devote some time to the playlist and hopefully pass the content assessment once, maybe twice. So week 15 runs November 29th to December 5th. You should be submitting your past due projects and your focus areas. And to be on pace, you should be working on French Revolution causes focus area and the revolutions essay. Also a reminder, our third progress monitoring checkpoint is on December 5th, which is next Tuesday. By that time, we're just over, I believe, a third of the way done with the year. So when you're looking at your year view, where you see all of your projects and your focus areas and you see the blue line on the dashboard, everything to the left of that blue line should be close to being turned green at this point if you're going to be on pace. So that's what we'll be looking for on December 5th, is how close you are to having everything to the left of the blue line turn green. Your reflection question for this week's launch is, why is it important to wait for feedback on the project checkpoints? So we discussed that a few slides ago if you need to go back and find the answer again. But in a private comment, go ahead and answer that question. Sorry this one took a little longer. It's because we didn't have a launch the last week or two, so I wanted to be more thorough on this one. Again, if you need help, please reach out just like James did. And now he's probably really, really happy that he did reach out because he's on pace and he probably feels much better about life. So reach out to me if you need help and I'll try to walk you through things as much as possible. All right, have a good week.